I guess tell me, Secret and Whisper. I mean, that's such a stupid, simple question, but, is there some big, deep meaning behind it, or it just sounded cool?
Kind of sounded cool, actually.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a story behind it. Both of this band, Secret and Whisper, is kind of a combination of two older bands. And when I had just left my other band singing for it, and it was a coincidence that they had just kind of lost their singer at the same time. So I ended up writing some demos and stuff with the guys, and we really wanted to kind of put a band together, and we liked the way things were going and stuff. So we ended up putting it together, and we were thinking of a name. I had Secret and Whisper already thought of, because I kind of think of band names all the time and stuff just for fun. And
it's what you do for a living.
Yeah. So it was. I liked it because I liked phonetically the way it sounded, Secret and Whisper. I thought it was kind of nice to say.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just kind of sick of all the kind of screamo band names out there right now. So that are all like, Die This Day, or I'm Gonna Bleed on You Tomorrow, and all that sort of stuff. So, it's not deep. It doesn't really have that much, depth behind it, more than the fact that, we were kind of in a little hush-hush when we started the band, because, we had prior, obligations and stuff. But, we just kind of liked it. So
this is something you wanted to do your whole life?
Yeah, since I was about 16, I guess.
Really?
So I ended up just kind of not doing it, and then going to film school and stuff. And then,
oh, really?
And then, doing the right thing, going to college and all that. And then I still wanted to do it after, so I was like, okay, I'm going to do it.
So are you excited about making a video someday, or have you already made one for the band?
Yeah, we made a video for...
Did you direct it and were a big part of it, or were we just...
Yeah, actually, I worked with the director.
Oh, okay.
On the idea and stuff, and I kind of told him the kind of video we were looking for, and he got some really, really good ideas off of that, and then he kind of drew up a treatment from there. So
do you like to fiddle around in Final Cut Pro and stuff? Is that something that you like to do, or do you like to come up with the ideas and stuff? And
I like writing a lot, and I do fiddle around a lot. I'm not really a very good editor, but I do have a system at my house where I can fool around and at least get basic ideas down and stuff. So
talk to me about that. Is that just about a girl?
Pretty much.
Yeah,
I guess. I think someone, I don't know who it was, but said all songs are kind of about love and girls or the other sex. So, but I guess it kind of has a bit of a darker twist, dealing with some issues. I was kind of in a relationship where we were on an even playing field. It wasn't really a relationship. It kind of seemed like one person was going through really tough things, and the other person was just kind of there. So that's kind of where that song kind of stemmed from. And
yeah, relationships they're just so important to life, and they can just kill.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But I guess that's what we're all searching for, is some sort of magic between two people.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a lot to life, and it's not just the good things, but it's the good and the bad that make life.
So is it tougher? Are relationships tougher on the road? I mean, even if it's band guys or a relationship back home, is it tougher on the road for relationships for you?
I think so, because first of all, like the bad reputation that band guys have, on your girlfriends or whatever, everyone's always saying, well, isn't he a band guy? Thinking that people just go cheat and all that sort of thing. And, I'm sure people do that, but it's not everybody, And, of course, being away all the time, it's really hard to, you got big phone bills, and, it's kind of a hassle. But if you're with the right person, I guess it's worth it, right? So.
And right now, you feel like you have the right person in your life?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So how hard is it? I've never even asked a stupid question like this, but how hard is it not to cheat? I mean, just because you like what you just said, if you're a band guy, well, blah, blah, blah. Because there's sort of that sex, drugs, and rock and roll thing that's out there. And
yeah, I think
where there's a will, there's a way, I guess.
I think it all depends on, your personality and what kind of character you have, I'm sure there's a lot of guys out there that have fun doing that sort of thing, and meeting lots of different people, which I think is totally cool. But I'm not really into meeting just random people like every night and stuff like that. So I'm kind of I'm kind of more of like a homebody. I like to get to know somebody a lot before I kind of invest in them and stuff like that. So tour is really strange. It's one of those things where at the time it seems like you're a long way from home. Like right now I'm like probably like a 45-hour drive from home, like
is that all?
Through 3,000 miles. So
wow,
it's kind of weird like looking at a map and stuff. But what I do is I just sometimes when I can I just like sneak away and get some alone time, and even if I can just get like an hour or something like that, usually like if I'm feeling like a little anxious or something, because being around people all the time is probably the hardest thing for me. So just go spend a little alone time, go to the mall or shopping or look around at some thrift stores or something, and it's like I don't know, it's like touring is one of those things where it's like you go on tour and it's really hard, and sometimes you wonder like, why am I doing this? But then when it's over and you are back home and you're like kind of safe place, all you think about is like the good memories and all the people that you met. Like I meet so many people every day that I never would have met like ever, if I didn't actually take this chance and just go out there. And I really do appreciate it in that way. Like I wouldn't ever trade it for the world, for sure.
Is that what that's sort of about, is feeling like somebody's there that you know?
It is kind of like that, and kind of like at the time I was going through getting out of a 7-year relationship, and I'd really invested a lot into it. So that song is actually linked with the first track, Blonde Monster, about this dream I had. It's kind of about this person that was like a really like faceless person, like I had never seen them before, but I kept having this dream, and it was really comforting to me. So it kind of gave me like a perspective of, what, like I probably just haven't met the person that's right for me yet, and so that song You're Familiar is really about that, and in ways that I'm looking for, and everything. It's kind of more of a song about like hope for the future, and being a little bit optimistic in a hard time. So
yeah, I'm a married dude now, and I've been married for a decent amount of time. And do you think about that? Do you think about finding somebody who you're going to spend the rest of your life with now, especially after a big time commitment with somebody, and all of a sudden it's like, well, how am I going to find, is that on your mind a lot, who you're going to spend the rest of your life with? Yeah,
definitely. I think a lot of people can be scarred by something like that, and I'm not saying that I'm not, but I think that you still got to give it a chance for the future. You can't just, because if you put up walls, then you never, you're not going to end up experiencing life, which is the bad and the good, right? So
yeah. So talk to me about Spider Beside Her, which I appreciate the title more than anything.
That song is kind of a little funny story. Remember back when I was saying like I was leaving my other band and stuff, I actually got kicked out of my old band.
Good job.
And so I went home with my tail between my legs to my hometown, and it's really hard. It's kind of like it's a city by like a lake and stuff, and it's really touristy in the summertime, so it's really hard to get like a job and stuff, even for like the locals. So I went home to my hometown, not able to even find a job, so I had to take the first thing I could get, which was working at a Chinese buffet restaurant as a waiter.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I was like traveling around America for a long time, and then all of a sudden I'm working at a Chinese food restaurant.
You weren't thinking of that at 16 years of age,
yeah,
were you?
Not at all. So I was like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? But anyways, it kind of was cool because, a really bad thing turned into a good thing because I got inspiration for this song. The inspiration behind this song is I kind of noticed that there's Japanese and Chinese waiters and waitresses that worked there. They're kind of a family and off of their family too, and friends of friends and that sort of thing, but mostly Asian people. And I noticed that all their names were kind of like 3-letter names, like Jim, Tim, Sam, John, Cam, like stuff like that. And I was like, one day I was just like, that is not your guys' real names, is it? And they're like, no. And I was like, well, what is your name? And then the first person I asked, her name was Iachoku. And I was like, well, why don't you guys use your real names? And she's like, because no one would ever remember them or know how to pronounce them. It's just too hard. And I thought it was kind of like a sad kind of story that, Canada's not that old. Neither is North America,
Right.
A couple 100 years. And a place like Japan has, like, thousands of years of, like, culture and, like, history and all that sort of thing. Like, and for them to, like, their names have meaning and stuff, and for them to come over here and just, like, drop all that for a name that has nothing, I thought that was kind of strange that we made them do that. But so yeah, that song is kind of like Japanese culture based, and I put my friend's name in there, Iachoku, and maybe that's just kind of like her revenge on Mama Panda's Chinese buffet. And that's where the panda comes from in the artwork too, the Mama Panda.
I like the ghost.
Yeah.
Where's that from?
Oh, that's from the song Attacker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I grew up in a haunted house.
Talk to me.
All right.
You grew up in a haunted house.
Yeah, well, a very close family member died. Actually, it was my brother. My older brother died when he was 6 years old, and he kind of haunted my house that I was growing up in.
Wow.
It was a really strange experience for my family growing up and stuff. So, that's what I kind of wrote that song about memories I had, from growing up with that sort of like weird thing going on and stuff. And I'm not straight out in my lyrics. I don't straight out be like ghosts and stuff like that. I just kind of like, I try to be descriptive about things, memories, and I try to write image-based lyrics. So so that it's not just obvious, if someone's turned off by that idea or something, they're just not like, oh, I don't want to listen to this song because he's just like singing, oh yeah, I lived with a ghost or something like that. So I kind of just try to be a bit more creative and
I love that.
An explanation.
Did everybody in your family, were they convinced he was there?
Oh yeah,
really?
Yeah, for sure.
So mother, father, and other.
Yeah,
where else was
my mother and I the most we experienced the most things.
And you think of it as a negative experience?
No, not at all.
Not at all?
No.
So when you say, I guess when I hear the word haunted, I think negative, but that is not how you meant that at all.
It's not negative, but I'm not going to say that I wasn't like 7 years old, like hiding under my blanket at nighttime, praying to God so hard that he would not let me see a ghost. You know what I mean? Because it's a really scary thing. So I saw it once, and I never wanted to see it again.
And so, do you think there's more ghosts out there now? You think there's ghosts all over around us?
Yeah, I think there are, and as a Christian or whatever, a lot of people will probably be weirded out by that. But unless you experience that sort of thing, it's hard to make a judgment call. So
I'm more fascinated by it because I want. There's a part of me that wants to believe, and then there's my logical thing that says, "Oh, well, it just can't be," because I've never seen one. So that's my conclusion is there can't be. But there's a big part of me that wants to think that something is around me, and whether they're looking after me or just around me. I guess I don't think too much about that other than just the idea that there's a spirit thing going on.
Yeah.
With somebody maybe that I even used to know. So
yeah, maybe. Like, I don't know, the one thing for sure that I know is that nobody knows what happens when you die.
Yeah, we know that. So are you not freaked out by it anymore then?
Yeah, definitely. I am freaked out. Luckily, it's kind of like in the past. Last summer, I kind of experienced a thing too that was really weird, and it kind of creeped me out a bit. But things haven't really been happening since that old house when I was little. So.
And driving past that old house has got to be a weird feeling, huh?
No, because it wasn't like a really like negative thing. It wasn't like, what's that movie with the girl on the TV and all that?
Oh yeah, Poltergeist.
Yeah, it wasn't like Poltergeist or anything with like slime coming down the walls. It was I had a really good childhood and a really good time living there. And yeah, there was some weird things, but I guess that was normal to me because I was growing up there and I didn't know any different. And yeah, so I don't look at that house in a negative way at all or anything. So.
Talk to me about Looming Moon. Is that about relationship too then?
Yeah, that one is a bit darker, of kind of the same thing, more of the
Well, I love lines like, I'm anxious to relieve my mind from desperate thoughts.
yeah.
Because I guess we all sort of want that, whatever the situation is, if we're anxious about it,
Yeah, exactly. You're anxious all the time. It's not the best feeling.
No, it's not.
Yeah, that song's kind of was like almost like a warning to myself to like maybe you shouldn't get out of this, like maybe you should keep going with it, like don't turn away and that sort of thing, and a warning to myself that I didn't listen to. So
second guessing is no fun.
Yeah.
No fun.
Ready for another long story?
Dude.
All right.
I got a microphone and recording equipment.
All right. I don't really have like a family history because my father was like abandoned at birth, like to a first foster home that would take him.
Wow.
And the last name that he took was his first foster parent's name.
Okay.
So I don't even really have a real family name. Like that's just like.
It goes back one generation.
Yeah, exactly. My parents are the oldest people in my house or in my family, and my mom has a really great story behind. She was also adopted out at birth, and back in the 50s, like you couldn't figure out they didn't keep really detailed records because that was adopting a kid out was kind of a thing that they didn't want you to figure it out later and that sort of thing. So we were never able to find out any information about that sort of thing. But she did find out the story of where she came from, and that's what Lovers is about. And the story is my grandfather, my mother's father, was supposedly this sailor that came to this city on some ships, and just for one night with his I don't know if he's in the Marines or whatever, but he met this girl who was married, and she had a family at home, husband and 2 kids. They ended up having an affair that night, and he left that night. That was my grandfather sailing away, and to never ever, it'd be impossible to discover him. The mother went home. Her husband was very, very mad that she was pregnant, said, well, this isn't my child, so you have to give it up. And that was my mom. So that song is kind of like Lovers, is just that one night between those two, and kind of how my grandpa kind of stole my identity from me. So
yeah, and do you sort of feel cheated on that?
Oh, definitely. I've totally been searching for about who I really am. I don't know my culture and my background or anything. So that really kind of gets to me because I love I have a really small family. It's just like the 4 of us, and me, my brother, and my mom and my dad. And I also have a half sister too, but that's another story. Yeah, because I really admire big families, that get together and all that sort of thing, and I kind of always wanted that. So, and also to know my real last name, what would my father's real last name be, and that sort of thing, and also what race am I and stuff. I'm obviously Caucasian, but I don't know. I think people's lives. I think that who you are is kind of bred into you, over thousands of years of your culture. You know what I mean? So if I don't want to get into any stereotypes or anything, but it's kind of what's that childhood story about the was it the ugly swan or something?
Yeah, ugly duckling.
The ugly duckling, yeah.
Yep.
It didn't feel like it fit in, but then when he finally went back to who he was supposed to, he was like, "Oh, I look just like you guys, and I act like you, and it's not so weird anymore." That's kind of what I've always been looking for. So.
Yeah, I mean, I assume the records are somewhere, but it's sort of when you're on the internet, it's if you can find the right.
It's right website. I went on the internet and I found that the hospital that my dad was actually born in, because he remembers, is actually burned down now. So,
oh.
Yeah. And they had all the records and stuff in there. So.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know what that feels like. I mean, I can tell you that I come from a fairly big family, but I don't get together with them a lot, so I have the option. I think once every few years they have a big family reunion, and I sort of go down there and we sort of talk, small talk, and I kind of go, I guess we're all just making sure somebody else is alive. So
yeah.
So Great White Whale is the last one. I have that down as searching for something that's really elusive.
That whole story is like, usually I don't write in stories. Like, I kind of just write descriptive like lyrics. That was one story that I kind of wanted to put into a story for kind of maybe the theme of the album, which it ended up being, and that sort of thing. And the story is kind of is about someone who is okay. Well, the actual story that I wrote was, there's this place where there's like these different areas to it. Like, there's a area that's like land and sea, and then there's air, and then there's like there's this one human or whatever that lives on land, this one person, and he's really lonely, and so he decides that he wants to go kidnap like the biggest of and greatest of all the creatures on his land or planet or whatever. So he decides to go grab the great white whale, grabs him, brings him back home, like locks him in a tower. I thought that was really kind of funny, locking a whale in a tower. And but then as soon as he discovers that the whales in the tower and stuff, he discovers that all the animals, the balance has kind of been shifted, so they kind of have an uprising and go to get the whale back. And when he realizes what he's done, he kind of is like, oh, and goes and sets it free again. So that's, I think, is really the whole theme of it, is just kind of being lonely and just maybe like setting, doing the right thing in the end, so. Yeah.
Movies that have been a big deal? Because it sounds like you're a story image guy, so. Yeah. Has there been movies that have been a big deal in your life that have been? Yeah,
movies inspire me more than anything when it comes to like even lyrics or even songs. That's what the song The Actress is about. Actually, it's simply about going to the movies. So,
any movies that you really were powerful in your life that you think of off the top of your head? Oh yeah, definitely. My favorite director is P.T. Anderson, and he hit the movie Magnolia was really, really huge for me. I love that movie a lot. So. What the frogs coming from the sky mean? Yeah. Oh, you don't want to get into it right now. Okay, thanks. Because I watched it, and then when I got to that place, I kind of went, I don't know where I'm going now. So, okay. I kind of like found that all of his movies kind of have a story about someone who's coming up from the bottom, doesn't really have a chance at life. For some reason, they kind of get a break. It starts going really, really well. The movie always reaches a climax, and then something very, very disturbing happens that brings everything all the way down. And then at the end, there's always kind of like some sort of like resolution. It's never as good as the climax, but it's kind of like okay. You know what I mean? And everyone's like, okay, I can deal with this. And I found that's the kind of formula I think that I found in his movies that I really like. I don't know if you've ever seen Boogie Nights or Punch Drunk Love or Magnolia or his new movie, There Will Be Blood. Oh. Yeah, that movie's amazing. Is it really? Yeah, it's simply amazing. How about environmental stuff? Do you guys think much about the environment? Yeah, actually. Jordan is actually native. He's our bass player. Okay. His mom is a native princess of their tribe. Oh, okay. And they're a dying tribe. It's like there's not very many of them left. And anyways, he has always been really in touch with nature his whole life and stuff. And, he's a vegetarian. He's the only one in the band. I totally agree with vegetarianism, but I'm not one. I kind of just believe in respecting animals. I think that we really do mistreat them, like in like native culture and stuff. Like, if they captured, a moose for their family or killed a deer or something like that, or fish, they would become like very, very sad, and like they'd pray over it and pray to God and thank
thank them for giving their families like food for the whole winter and stuff like that. And I think that's really respecting an animal, you know. But now we just go to the grocery store and there's like steaks. It's an assembly line, and we really do mistreat animals, and I think that's a really sad thing in this world. But I don't know. I'm not going to go join PETA or anything, so I got too much on my plate already. So.